Did Leonardo just kill prompting? Well, not exactly, but they have introduced a new feature that is going to kick it in the shins a few times. Today, we're going to dive into this new workflow, which as of now, you can use for free. Plus, we're going to take a long overdue look at Leonardo.ai, because if you haven't checked in there in a while, they've been doing some pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's dive in. So kicking off, Leonardo have introduced a new, I hesitate to call it a feature, it really is more of a new workflow, and it's appropriately called flow state. We're going to take a look at it in action in just a second, but first, because I ended up talking to the Leonardo team for a pretty good while about, the reasoning behind this, I just kind of wanted to talk about the why of flow state. So if you've been around the AI image generation space for a while, you probably do remember prompts that look like this. This, by the way, is the original Daniela Van Denonk dressed as a pirate, one of our channel mascots. Yeah, this is the original prompt. In this old prompt style, we would often have to spam a bunch of keywords. Like we have realistic photograph here, but octane render here. Concept art is somewhere in there. For some reason, Beethoven is in the prompt as well. And you'd also have to have this whole list of negative prompts, including things like cross-eyed, disfigured, poorly drawn face. NSFW was usually in there as well. As time has gone on and LLMs have been incorporated into image generators, we can now use a lot more natural language to try to get what we're looking for, but you do still have to type in keywords on aesthetic, shot composition, and overall mood. So with flow state, what Leonardo is trying to do is remove some of that friction to allow for more exploration. And it allows for a lot more exploration. Let's check it out real quick. So trying it out with our old channel chestnut, a man in a blue business suit, in an airport waiting for a flight? Where's he going? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So coming down to the sidebar here, we have a number of different styles that we can choose from. This is everything from a color sketch all the way down to origami. I'm going to use stock photo because that's pretty much what our man in a blue business suit is. Our next option is obviously for our lighting. We're going to give this let's go dramatic on this one. We have options for shot type, everything from low angle, overhead, epic, cinematic. I guess we'll give it a cinematic look. And then in the color theme tab, we have everything from earth tones, complementary, deep teal. Let's go with cool tones here. We'll put this into an aspect ratio of 16:9, I guess just the standard, and then let it run. And here is where flow state is pretty crazy, because just off of that one prompt, it's generated up all of these images, and it's still going. And what I've personally found very interesting about exploring within flow state is, after viewing most of these, which is, to be honest, very much in my style, dark, atmospheric, brooding, cinematic, it is fun just to kind of come back up and swap things out for, let's just say it's concept art. We're going to go with light art here instead of cinematic. Let's find dreamy. We never do that here. And then let's go with iridescent, something I definitely would never go with. And really very quickly, we have a number of different concepts and ideas that we can begin exploring. Now, is everything perfect? No, it is AI generated. For example, here we have our man in the blue business suit doing his best Ichabod Crane impersonation, or this one where our guy is Matrix flying through the airport, and that is definitely going to get him in trouble with airport security. Granted, we are on Leonardo, so there are ways to fix those little errors if you do happen to run across something that you like, but it isn't quite working out the way that you want it to. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. In the meantime, it generates just a ton of different images in sort of variations on the flow style that you provide. So yes, while you may end up with some AI incoherencies or some generations that you might like, I can guarantee you that every time that you run flow state, you will find something that you actually really like. There is kind of a nice feature in which you can use the Leonardo Upscaler right from here. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. Now, where I think that flow state ends up being a fairly powerful, useful, and creative tool is when you use it as sort of a concept idea springboard. For example, using a prompt like scene from a crime film. Yeah, we're just gonna go back to all my old chestnuts here. So for our vibe, we'll go with street photo. For our lighting, we're gonna go volumetric. For our shot type, we'll go dreamy. And then for our color theme, we're gonna go jet black, running that at an aspect ratio of the 2:1 widescreen. We end up with some really cool stuff that we can mine essentially as a mood board. Even just taking a few of these shots and running them through your favorite video generator, you essentially have, an atmospheric short. Now, have I been watching too many HBO crime dramas? Yeah, I probably have. But again, going back to flow state, I think the real power here is that it really kind of encourages the idea to go exploring into either aesthetics that you normally don't go into or putting a spin on sort of a familiar trope. For example, well, let's try this prompt, which I would never do, a cozy cabin in the woods with smoke rising from the chimney. We're going to hit use prompt here, and let's fire it off with some different vibes. It's like, well, let's go origami here, and then maybe light art, spiritual, and earth tones, generally keywords that I probably wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards. Plus, let's do it in a different aspect ratio than usual. We'll do this in 1:1, see what happens. And sure enough, we kind of end up with this like paper quill 3D style. It's really cool. Again, not something that I normally prompt for. And yeah, just by tooling around, we can end up with something really cool. Another idea is to take one of your like standard prompts, like this is a cyberpunk woman with long white hair in black armor in a cyberpunk alley. I run this one a lot, and you know, if we just leave all of our flow state styles on default, it just gives you a bunch of different variations on that. Like there are things like I definitely would never aim into like kind of this kawaii style or something like this kind of like watercolor style. And what's kind of neat about this is that, say I am interested in seeing more in this watercolor style, I can come to more like this. It actually gives me the vibe is watercolor and the lighting is mystical here. I can just click more like this and it'll repopulate with variations using those presets. Is this something that I'm necessarily going to use? Probably not, but I mean, it's an interesting exploration into a style that I definitely never really think of when it comes to this prompt. Outside of flow state, we still do have all of our like normal Leonardo stuff as well. A quick note, oh look, it's our man in the blue business suit. Oh, he's now on the airplane waiting for takeoff. I guess we're gonna find out where he's headed. If you're an old school Leonardo user and you know, you're sort of wondering, hey, where's the old stuff? You can always come back over to legacy mode up here. And if you click on that, all of our old models are available for you. In fact, actually, funny enough, it preloaded with the Daniela Van Den Donk prompt. So that was in Dream Shaper. And yeah, let's just go ahead and run that and see what it looks like. And indeed, there's our girl. Yep, still works. Although we did end up with kind of a mini Daniela Van Den Donk down here. But yeah, kudos to Leonardo for keeping the old legacy models still going. They still produce great images. And what's kind of cool is that we can take these older generations and run them through the new Ultra version of Leonardo's Upscaler, which actually doesn't do quite as much like hallucinating as the old models did. So on the new model, yeah, it just kind of cleans everything up, makes it a little bit larger, but retains all of your original details. Another example using our cyberpunk woman with long white hair. Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't really, change much. Our eye color changed there a little bit, but not a big deal. That can be fixed. But for the most part, yeah, it's not like changing anything into photorealism. Now that said, you can still use the legacy upscaler. And with that, we can use something like the cinematic preset and give Daniela a very realistic output. We can also do style referencing within our generations. And this goes back to the flow state thing. So, our cottage quill image that we generated earlier, just running that with the style reference, because again, that's not a style that I would necessarily go with. A very simple prompt for me, a cup of coffee sitting on a table. If we do that at like medium strength, we end up with images like this, where it's just kind of taking the overall, I guess, like tone of the color palette there. There's actually a mistake here with the spoon. We'll fix that in just a second. But running it at something like Ultra or Max will yield results more like this, where we definitely are picking up more of the overall style of the input image. This one actually kind of came out cool in that the coffee cup does look photorealistic, and then the sort of steam coming off of it looks like paper quill style. Yeah, this is definitely a save. And again, coming back to our coffee cup example here, we also, of course, do still have the canvas feature as well. That, of course, will allow you to quickly draw a mask here. We're just going to prompt for like remove spoon. And Bob is your uncle. It's always funny with these removals. Like I always get really nitpicky about stuff like the wood grain. Stuff like I don't think anyone would ever notice. So just gonna go ahead and hit OK. Boom. There you go. There's obviously a ton more that you can do in the canvas feature, but that is, in all honesty, a video unto itself. Just quickly though, you can do text to image, Inpainting and Outpainting, image to image, and you can sketch something in. There are, of course, a number of other features as well, including character reference, content reference, depth to image, edge to image, pose to image, and text input. Now, quickly to note, these are available in most of these models. In the Phoenix model, which is the sort of flagship model, some of these features are coming soon, but I think they should be available fairly soon, if not already by the time you watch this. I'll let you know as soon as those drop, because that is bound to be very powerful in Leonardo. The other thing they have is the old real-time canvas thing. I know this isn't very popular. I don't know why. I think this is like super cool and just a lot of fun just to play around with. I mean, yeah, so it's still here if you guys want to mess with it. I mean, seriously, I can get lost in this thing for like hours at a time. Oh, cool. They added in like an instant refine up there as well. It's really awesome. I mean, I don't know why this never really took off. This is just a lot of fun. So yeah, as you can see, there is a lot going on with Leonardo right now. Flow state is just kind of the beginning. I do know that they have some pretty big plans for 2025. And in my opinion, I mean, Leonardo still should have a pretty good amount of goodwill, considering that, you know, they are one of the few that still have a free plan. And again, you know, this new flow state you can try on the free plan for a limited time, and at some point or another it's going to turn into I believe 1 credit per generation. So yeah, still pretty much a deal. So yeah, I know I have been promising like the full Leonardo walkthrough, but as you can see, there's just a lot here, so it's kind of hard to pack in to one video. But maybe as we enter the new year, I'll have a chance to do maybe a basics Leonardo video. Let me know down in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. Definitely let me know what you think about flow state. And until next time, I thank you for watching. My name is Tim.